They say make a woman in a family healthier, educate her, and then the entire family becomes healthy. It's actually true. I mean, in no means I'm saying that cooking food or managing groceries entirely and solely the responsibility of a woman. Definitely not on the International Women's Day, which is today. But then it is a fact that women of a family has more grip and hold in terms of what food to cook, what kind of ingredients goes into that, so on and so forth. And so in that sense, it is actually true. Anyways, today we are here to talk about various health and wellness and fitness conditions which affects and is important for a woman and how to manage that. Of course, these are all large and varied topics, not something that we can cover in one single short video, but then I would try to kind of concise it into smaller bits and pieces so that I hope this is helpful. I'm going to talk about PCOS. I'm going to talk about thyroid related issues. I'm going to talk about pregnancy related aspects and nutrition, menopause and related managing health and wellness, skin and hair, of course, postpartum related health, and other series of other health issues. Yeah. So let me straight away delve into the topic PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Very common amongst the urban women, surprisingly and sadly, even among young children, it has become very common. So, what exactly is PCOS? Cyst forming in ovaries, and hence that impacting the menstrual cycle, the period, and everything, right? So, from a dietary and exercise management perspective, what can be done? From a dietary perspective, of course, reducing processed carbohydrates, including more of fiber and protein into the diet, and thereby bringing the glycemic index of the food down, etc., will help in managing from a dietary perspective. Remember, the first line of medication often given by a gynecologist in cases of PCOS is actually metformin, which is nothing but a diabetes management drug. So it has PCOS has everything to do with insulin resistance. So bringing that insulin resistance down is very important, and making sure that the insulin spike does not happen, because when there is an insulin spike, the male sex hormones becomes increasingly secreted by the ovaries, which leads into further topsy-turvy menstrual cycle and the periods, and the egg not getting released from the ovaries. So that is from the dietary perspective. Increase protein, add fiber. These are all the things I'm sure you guys already know about. I'm not going to harp on it. But I want to harp on the exercise bit of it also. For women, lifting weights, resistance training, I keep saying this a lot, is going to make an immense important, not just to make them feel powerful, stronger, and everything, but also to actually make them look younger, feel sexier, and look sexier also. Because remember, it's the lean mass which gives toning and structure to the body. So, lifting weights, women of yesteryear used to do this a lot, taking water from a well, or grinding the coconut using that stone, or making dosa batter. These are all exercises which involves muscles. So do exercises which involves muscles. If you're going to gym, lift weights, or you don't need a gym access, you can even do this with dumbbells, a pair of dumbbells, and still do this resistance training. So do that. In the dietary perspective, we include more of monounsaturated fat. That would be nuts, avocado, olive oil, these kind of things. These are all healthy fat. And remember, hormonal imbalance is ultimately what is PCOS is. And fat, dietary fat, is a fundamental component of making these sex hormones. These are all sterol or cholesterol based hormones, right? Estrogen, progesterone, these are all sterol based hormones. So, dietary fat and right kind of fat. Remember, fat is a double-edged sword. There are some fat which is good, some fat is bad. So, like trans fat, hydrogenated vegetable oil, these are all bad fat. Margarine, these are all bad fat. But the good fats, such as monounsaturated fats, such as the examples that I already gave, are good for improving the hormonal balance of the body. So, include more of that. If the person is overweight, stay at a calorie deficit. Do not skip any meals. Do not get onto a salad diet or anything. Have your normal meal. Make sure to stay in a calorie deficit of around 300 to 500 calories, which will allow a person to lose only fat without losing muscles, along with resistance training, and right amount of fat intake will help in managing PCOS. Yeah, and resistance training is extremely important. Coming to thyroid, commonly issue is hypothyroid. So I'm going to talk about that. wherein the gland, the thyroid gland here, the butterfly shaped gland here, is becoming hypo or underactive. Now, thyroid is very, while the thyroid function test looks pretty simple, T3, T4, TSH, and if a TSH is high, you would say it is hypo. But it's very the endocrine system, the thyroid gland is very, very complicated in terms of managing the overall metabolic activity of the human body. And that's why when the thyroid gland becomes hypo or underactive, the person ends up gaining weight because it reduces the metabolism. Now, there are different types: primary hypothyroidism, secondary, tertiary, subclinical hypothyroidism, autoimmune hypothyroidism. So I'm not going to get into the details of it, but a few things. Most cases, when there is a hypothyroidism, it's important to manage stress. All right, it is important to sleep well, and hypothyroidism is also associated with a lot of hair loss. So manage. I'm doing right kind of medication. So for hypothyroidism, the common medication which is done is hormone replacement therapy, right? Which is nothing but the Thyronorm or the Elfroxin tablet that we normally is given for women when they are hypothyroid, is nothing but the synthetic form of the thyroid hormone which is produced by these glands. So hormone replacement therapy using these kind of medications such as Thyronorm is essentially what is done. Now, from a lifestyle perspective, obviously the person would have gained weight or there's a chances of gaining weight. So it's important to stay active. Again, importance of resistance training. I again want to harp here. It has a direct impact on improving metabolic parameters among all sort of exercises. I'm not saying you should not do running. I'm not saying you should not do yoga. These are all amazing exercises, but please, please do not ignore the benefits of lifting weights, and women should lift weights. From a dietary perspective, it is commonly said that avoid the cruciferous or the goitrogenic vegetables. Those would be the green leafy vegetables, the spinach, broccoli, and things like that. Now, there is a reason that people generally ask to avoid that, because they have certain components which compete for iodine, and iodine is required for your gland to produce thyroid hormones. So if your thyroid gland is already underactive, you don't need some other chemical or molecules competing for the iodine molecules, right? And that's why generally people say that reduce or stop having these goitrogenic or cruciferous vegetables. But let me tell you, cruciferous vegetable also has many essential vitamins and minerals which are important for various other aspects of the body. So do not completely ignore it. Just make sure that you cook it well. All these, especially these green leafy vegetables, cook it thoroughly. When you cook it thoroughly, these polyphenols, which are the competing molecules for iodine, which impacts or meddles with the thyroid gland general working, will be destroyed. So this polyphenols will be destroyed. So if you're cooking these spinach and things like that really well, you can have them once or twice in a week, no problem. But of course, within the limited quantities, do not completely ignore that. Stay in a calorie deficit again if you want to kind of, also the goal is also to lose some excessive body fat, because as I said, thyroid disorders are also, hypothyroid disorders are also associated with increased weight gain. Lift weights, stay active. These are all things which is important. Pregnancy, again, common things, having adequate amount of iron, adequate amount of protein, adequate amount of folic acid. Folic acid is a B vitamin, B9, vitamin B9. Pomegranate is rich in that, and that's why that's one of the most favorite fruit for pregnant women, right? Folic acid is very important. And then calcium, right? It's important for the growth of the infant, bones, cartilages, various tissues, etc. So that's important. So these are iron, protein, folic acid, which is vitamin B9, and calcium. Make sure that is adequate. Overeating during pregnancy because you feel that there are two lives, that's wrong. Do not overeat it, but definitely your calorie intake needs to be slightly higher, and steadily it will increase, and that's why a person feels craving and would like to eat more and everything. Weight gain during pregnancy is normal, and let's normalize that. One does not have to feel bad and terrible about the weight gain. The weight that is gained is important for the well-being of the baby also, and that will gradually go away over a period of time, probably around 6 to 9 months after the delivery. Now, Postpartum depression is very common, and it's quite all right to actually go through that. That first important is the realization that it is something which can sometimes happen, and if it requires some sort of a help and attention from a certified counselor or a medical help, do not hesitate to reach out for that, and that's something which can be managed very easily if it is approached and attended to at the right time. Do not get into immediate weight loss immediately after the pregnancy. Do not get increased protein and fat and get onto those kind of fat diets, because remember, especially for lactating women, breastfeeding women, the kind of the food that we eat also impacts the production and the quality of the milk. So if you steadily increase protein and fat and things like that and reduce carbohydrate in order to lose weight faster, it can cause flatulence and gassy feeling and stomach upset and issues for the infant. So do not get into those kind of crash diet or high protein diet and that immediately after the delivery. Our suggestion is that at least 3 to 4 months, or perhaps once you start weaning the child, start giving solid food, semi-solid food, then you gradually and steadily can get off thinking about slowly increasing the protein or managing dietary adjustments. And that's the right thing to do. Menopause. Now, all women go through that. And at that time, a lot of hormonal imbalances happen, hot flashes. It's common for women to feel depressed because of the hormonal change in the body. Another thing which commonly happens along with that, because of the falling levels of estrogen, the bones become very prone to being brittle. Vitamin D levels needs to be checked. Vitamin D is a catalyst to absorb the calcium into the body, into the bone. So make sure your vitamin D levels are proper, especially during and around and after the menopause related time. So have a vitamin D medication tablet if you're deficient there. Include calcium rich food. Exercising and especially weight training also increases the bone mineral density. It not only improves the strength and muscle quality, it also improves the bone mineral density because of the piezoelectric impact that resistance or weight causes across the bone. So do these exercises, stay active. These are the things which will help. So I think I've gradually, skin and hair, that's something that I missed out. So adequate amount of water definitely helps to maintain and manage the quality of the skin. And collagen is something which is also helpful. There are supplements available, but then there is also available in natural food, non-vegetarian food and things like that are also rich in collagen. You can actually include that in the diet, and that will also help in improving the skin quality. Protein. Collagen is nothing but the structural element of most of our, including bone, including skin, hair, etc. So including right amount of protein is very important. Yeah. How much protein should you have? If you do not have any kidney issues, or if you do not have uric acid issues or associated issues related to consumption of protein, then roughly 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So if you're 60 kg in weight, at least 50 grams of protein is what you should have daily. Yeah, that's the amount that you should have. And if you're exercising, you can go up to 1 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. That's the amount of the protein that you can reach if you're active and exercising. Yet another structural compound of protein-based compound important for the health of hair is keratin. Keratin is important. So again, right amount of protein intake becomes very, very important to prevent hair loss and make sure that the skin health is proper. One of the B vitamin which helps in the hair is biotin. The biotin is nothing but vitamin B7. That helps. So include more of green leafy vegetables. These are all B vitamins are very rich. Green leafy vegetables are very rich in B vitamins. So include all that. You will also get these biotin supplementation. Just one word of caution: if you're hypothyroid, and if you're having a biotin supplements, and in case you end up you want to take a thyroid function test. If you want to take a thyroid function test, stop your biotin supplementation for at least 1 week before the test, and then take the test. Okay, biotin supplementation, it doesn't interfere with the thyroid gland or the thyroid medicine that you're having, but it interferes with the test that you're taking. So if you're having a biotin supplementation, if you go ahead and take a a thyroid function test, your thyroid function test would be wrong numbers. So stop biotin supplementation for at least 1 week before you take your thyroid function test if you're hypothyroid and if you're doing your routine check. Obviously, I don't have to harp on the aspects of checking the women are more prone towards cancer, especially the breast cancer, according to the various data and statistics. So it's also important to get that part of test done. After 40 or 45 years of age, it is important to do a test once in 2 years, a complete body routine. That goes through not just for women, it even for men. Yeah, so these are largely the things that I want to talk about when it comes to women health and women fitness, because as I earlier mentioned, a healthy woman would also know to take care of the entire family, let it be her parents or in-laws or their kids or their husband or whatever it is, or brothers, sisters or whatever. So on this International Women's Day, I hope all of you stay healthy, stay fit, stay young, and stay safe. Take care. My name is Rajiv Ambat from NuvoVivo Center for Obesity, Lifestyle Disorders and Research. We're an online health and wellness company which works with clients across the globe and manage and help them manage lifestyle disorders such as diabetes, fatty liver, PCOS, hypothyroidism, hypertension, so on and so forth. Weight loss, of course, is just yet another byproduct of improved metabolism, and that's how we look at it. So, all right, so you take care and have fun, stay safe.